Hello, astronomy enthusiasts from all around the world. I'm Luis Miguel Azorin, and I welcome you to a new video on astronomical events from Astro Academy. In this video, we'll go over the most notable astronomical phenomena for the month of August, with special attention to the lunar phases, planetary events, meteor showers, and other observable phenomena. And as always, at the end of the video, I'll give you some photography tips so you can make the most of the month's most spectacular moments. So, if you're interested in skywatching or astrophotography, stay tuned because we're getting started. Let's begin, as always, with the lunar phases. During August 2025, we'll have an unusual lunar calendar with two first-quarter phases. On August 1st, we have the first quarter moon. From there, we move on to August 9th with the full moon, in this case called the sturgeon moon. This name comes from North American culture and is due to the fact that August is when sturgeon fishing is easiest, mainly for natural reasons. Increased activity of these fish, better accessibility, optimal depth and water volume conditions in rivers and lakes, and so on. From here, we move on to August 16th with the last quarter moon. Next, on August 23rd, we have the new moon. And finally, on the last day of the month, August 31st, the moon will once again be in its first quarter phase. Having two first-quarter moons in the same month is relatively uncommon, and it's also a very attractive lunar phase for photography as it reveals very interesting lunar reliefs along its terminator. Now let's move on to the most notable planetary events of the month. This month brings several interesting conjunctions and alignments, especially in the pre-dawn hours. The most notable of these is the conjunction between Venus and Jupiter, which will take place on August 12th just before sunrise. Both planets will appear very close together in the constellation Gemini, offering a spectacular view to the naked eye with binoculars or through a telephoto lens. Also in the early hours of August 12th, the moon will pass very close to Saturn and Neptune. Although Neptune is not visible without a telescope, its proximity to the moon can serve as a reference point to locate it. On August 19th, Mercury reaches its greatest western elongation, making it an excellent candidate for observation in the morning sky. 2 days later, on August 21st, it will be in the dichotomy phase, meaning half of it will be illuminated. On August 19th and 20th, the moon will align successively with Jupiter and Venus, creating an ideal composition for wide-field photography. Now let's move on to astronomical events in general. The main highlight of the month is, without a doubt, the Perseid meteor shower. Its peak is expected on the night of August 12th to 13th, with a rate of up to 100 meteors per hour under ideal conditions. This year, however, the moon will be in an advanced waning phase, at 84%, and will be present for most of the night, which will reduce the visibility of the faintest meteors. Even so, if we seek out dark, clear skies and observe during the second half of the night, when the moon begins to set, we will be able to enjoy the brightest meteors. Additionally, around August 18th, we will also be able to observe the Kappa Cygni meteor shower, which is much more subtle, but features slow-moving and occasionally bright meteors. And finally, let's move on to some photography tips. Here are a few tips that will definitely help you with these fascinating events. First, the conjunction between Venus and Jupiter on August 12th. This conjunction will be ideal for photographing with telephoto lenses ranging from 135 to 300 millimeters. You can look for a composition where both planets are above a recognizable landscape feature, such as a mountain or a building. Pay attention to the time of sunrise because that's the moment just before they fade into the sun's glare. Secondly, the Perseids from August 12th to 13th, which is one of the most photographed events of the month. Although the moon will be a nuisance, there's no doubt about that, you can frame your shot with your back to it or use its light to gently illuminate the landscape if you're doing night landscape photography. Use a wide-angle lens and exposures between 10 and 25 seconds with as short a time-lapse as possible between them. This way, you'll have a better chance of capturing the greatest number of meteors possible. And as for aperture and ISO sensitivity, in this case, the moon will be the one to dictate the settings. Set those parameters that allow you to have a well-lit foreground without it being overexposed, but at the same time, let you position the histogram as far to the right as possible to increase your chances of capturing the faintest meteors. Thirdly, the conjunction of the moon, Venus, and Jupiter on August 19th and 20th. This is a very interesting idea for panoramic photography or a sunrise time-lapse. For example, a wide scene with the pastel tones of the dawn sky can be visually very striking. And fourth, lunar reliefs on August 1st and 31st. The two first quarters of the month offer excellent grazing light for photographing lunar craters and mountains. These will be ideal moments to take out our telescope and practice high-resolution planetary astrophotography, or to set up a long telephoto lens on a tripod and use remote shooting or a timer. And that concludes the astronomical events for this August 2025. As you can see, we have a month full of events, spectacular conjunctions, meteor showers, and 2 first-quarter phases that invite you to take out your telescope and practice high-resolution lunar astrophotography. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. And remember, if you want to learn astrophotography from scratch or improve your technique, you have access to all the courses from Astro Academy and Academia Natural Portraits, with comprehensive training in night photography, planetary and deep sky astrophotography, and image processing. See you under the stars!